let's talk about like how did you land at lactation?
Sure. So actually, I didn't start at fertility. Fertility was a new addition within the last couple years, even after lactation. So I started off
Oh,
with pregnancy nutrition. That was the niche that I was thinking, oh, this makes total sense. So this will be my big story, not too many tangents, but basically what got me into wanting to pursue health in the first place was I knew that, well, both my parents had a lot of health problems growing up. And so when I got to undergrad as an 18-year-old, they're like, okay, what do you want to do for the rest of your life? And I was like, I'm 18. I have no idea. So I went into Florida State as an undecided major. I ended up taking a nutrition class and was like, oh, this is cool. I like this. Also, I had through my mom really terrible. Witnessed her have really terrible experiences with the healthcare system and was like also very squeamish. I'm like, I don't want to be a doctor, but I do want to do something that's going to help impact people and their health. And so I saw nutrition as a really cool opportunity because I was like, oh, this can be more focused on prevention because I saw how much both my parents struggled that I want to be able to help other people completely avoid that sort of struggle and, indirectly that I had to experience watching them struggle. And so I saw nutrition as that tool. And when I got into nutrition, I was like, okay, cool. Who do I work with? Well, I do love kids, which was great when I sold books because I loved interacting with the kids. However, I realized, well, if you want to help kids with what they're eating, well, who prepares their food for them? Okay, well, then you got to work with the adults. And most adults, we are stuck in our habits that we've been doing for our entire life. It is so much more difficult to change those habits. So if we're trying to impact those kids, we also have to have a strong impact on those parents. And that is a lot, like there's just a lot of challenges there. And I was like, okay, well, I do want to, again, if I'm going to use nutrition for prevention, if I'm working with older people, we're just kind of band-aiding issues a lot of times. I want to be able to start from the get-go. And so I was like, pregnant women, they're motivated. That's such a window of opportunity because nutrition has some of the strongest impact on health long term because their baby is developing so much in such a short period of time. I want to work with pregnant women. And so that's how it all started.
mm,
And then piece by piece, I realized, okay, so it went from wanting to work with pregnant women to realizing that a lot of their healthcare support postpartum completely drops off. You have a support from an OBGYN, midwife, whoever is that healthcare support system throughout pregnancy. And then as soon as the baby's born, it's all about the baby. And this isn't so black and white, but this is how it feels a lot of times. It's like
sure.
the focus is completely off the mom. There's no oxygen mask analogy. It's not like, oh, put yours on before the babies. It's like, let's just go straight to the baby. But I'm like,
Right.
why isn't anyone supporting the mom? And so, but I did also learn that has, I mean, this is just like one of those sciences that it is very like, it's not like, oh, there's a little bit of evidence. Like, it's very strong evidence, the benefits of breastfeeding, what that has on an infant and their development and prevention of disease and all sorts of things, even like allergies, asthma, a lot of like autoimmune things like that can potentially play a longer term impact in their gut microbiome, like all these things that impact the baby's health long term. But I also loved in the field of lactation that you're not just working with the baby, you're working with the unit, the mom, the baby. My most favorite moments that I just like almost want to cry is when I see the partner also supporting, and it's just like the three of them just like all playing their part in just like being a family and being healthy. And um so that's where the lactation piece came in. And then I realized as I'm learning more and more about nutrition and its impact, I realized that preconception is a missed opportunity because a lot of times with pregnancy, especially in the first trimester, this is maybe more information than you expected to learn today, but that's
No,
okay.
this is great. I'm learning a
Okay,
lot.
cool. So first trimester is typically where nausea and vomiting are at its peak. And because of that, a lot of women are like, oh, I'm going to be motivated and start eating really well once I'm pregnant because I want to be healthy for my baby. But then with the nausea and vomiting, they're like, I want to eat these things, but I'm just, everything sounds terrible, or I can't keep anything down. So that's why preconception is so important is because before they're pregnant, they have the opportunity to build up all the nutritional stores so that if they are having troubles that first trimester, there's not all this weight on just this time to make up for lost time.
That makes sense. So you're prepping for the storm that is going to be the first trimester of pregnancy, which is
Yeah,
rough.
and
I mean,
knock
it's
on
all
wood,
rough, I feel like,
hopefully
but
yeah, hopefully it's not for everyone, but yes, typically
I
speaking,
understand.
it's the toughest,
It's
yeah.
kind of like, to keep it relevant, it's kind of like when you go sell books and they tell you to learn your sales talk,
Sales talk, yep.
and it's like, and then you get out there, you're like the first 3 weeks, first, I guess if you're gonna call it trimester, you're like, I see why I see why it was good that I memorized my sales talk before I came out. Right.
Yes,
Yeah, I
yes.
understand. So I get it, but it doesn't mean that you're going to fail if you don't have that prep. It just means that you're just setting yourself up for success better by prepping in the right ways. That's really cool.